Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, children 18 and up. We are back with another episode of Fan Experience TV, and I am your host, Mike Katos. Alongside me is my co-host, Rick Molina. Rick, how we doing?
Doing well, Mike. Licking my wounds from Super Bowl 55 and all those predictions that we made. Still sort of stunned at what we witnessed on Sunday, but all is well. Looking forward to a great show tonight. So let's not keep everybody waiting. Let's get to it. Your thoughts on Super Bowl 55?
Yeah. So there was some really good TV on Sunday because we were live on Sunday.
Yeah, we were live 3 to 5.
After we got off the air, we had we watched some pretty questionable TV.
Yeah.
Horrible ratings, a very big ratings dip.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising, being, where we've been, and obviously not gonna lie, it was a marquee matchup. Didn't turn out that way, but it was a marquee matchup with Patrick Mahomes, reigning Super Bowl MVP, reigning champions, going up against the GOAT, Mr. Thomas Edward Brady, right? Edward?
Yeah, that's it. Yep, Thomas Edward
Brady, and Brady was going for his 7th ring and trying to stop the Chiefs from going 2 in a row, a feat that Tom Brady did, 17, 18 years ago. The Bucs were up to the task. Let's just say that. And it was an underwhelming game for what the hype, brought up. And so first, let's say we had the live show, the Fan Experience on Sunday. We got everyone's picks. We're sitting there and cursing up a storm. Like, how the hell are you picking the Bucs? 9 people picked the Bucs on this show.
Yeah.
Me and Rick picked the Chiefs.
Yeah, correct.
Mr. Andrew Narr, he's a Chiefs fan. So
Andrew,
our condolences to you, Andrew.
I was with you, man. I was with you all the way.
Right there with you. And then we had a couple others. Tanner went with the Chiefs, and our buddy Joel went with the Chiefs, 42-21, might I add.
Yeah, Joel. Yeah,
he did not get 40. Tough. The Chiefs did not get 42 points. Not even close. They couldn't even hit the double digits. So not even a touchdown by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And what else can you say? There were some questionable calls against the Chiefs defense. Yeah. Okay. There was this, defender falling down and grazing Mike Evans' leg. And then Mike Evans does an Academy Award winning fall.
Yeah.
And, obviously the refs bought it. But, whatever the calls were, even if they were questionable, the Chiefs offense could not do a damn thing. Not a damn thing. And then you got Jack Sparrow running 500 yards in the backfield.
Yeah.
Mr. Patrick Mahomes and the Jack Sparrow meme that's floating around the interweb over here.
I saw that.
But they said 498 yards.
He ran.
Unbelievable. But it was very underwhelming, and the halftime show was perfect for that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If you're gonna wrap up, nonsense into 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
They did an awesome job. I couldn't even feel my face after that Super Bowl. But the weekend is over. Rick, your thoughts?
I was looking like the weekend running through that maze, not sure where I was going, what's going on. I was lost. But when you look back on it, first of all, a shout out to our friend Megan, locked in Sports Chat over there, who picked the Bucs, talked about the Bucs defense, and even called Gronk's first touchdown.
Yeah.
So hats off to you, Megan.
19-1. You should have had the money on it.
Yeah, you should have had the money on it. But when we look back on it, we should have seen it coming, right? This defense was ferocious. It was fierce. It was physical. And they just basically put a beating on the Kansas City Chiefs. And, you heard Mahomes talk about it after the game. He said he's never been beaten like that in his life. And that's what it was. I mean, they put a beating on that poor kid. He lost his left tackle. He lost his tackles, no offensive line, but that he had to run for his life, almost 500 yards, literally 5 football fields. He was running for his life back there. And the other thing that surprised me is Andy Reid never adjusted. They were playing Shannon Sharp was saying it all day yesterday and somewhat today. They were playing cover 2 safeties deep. They weren't going to let them get beat deep, and they didn't adjust. They didn't run the ball. They didn't try to do something over in the middle of the field in that zone, and they never adjusted. And then the other thing that he did was the worst mistake is he called the timeout with trying to be greedy and get see if they'll get a stop and punt the ball back. And Brady took a shot, and again, got a pass interference call on a questionable call. Funny, the flags came out towards the end of that half, and in the second half, you didn't see many flags.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all,
they didn't need him.
Yeah, they didn't need it. At the end of the day, it didn't matter because they literally just beat them up. I mean, they bullied them. They ran the ball, with LeGarrette Blount, and they just beat them up. And
LeGarrette Blount. I mean, I know it was Brady playing, but
I'm sorry, Leonard Fournette. I'm sorry, Leonard Fournette. Excuse me, Leonard Fournette. But they just put a beating on them, and the Chiefs had no answers. And what can you say? Brady now Tom Brady is now with Muhammad Ali, with LeBron James, with Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, like those elite level of athlete. He is now on that pedestal. He's now on that Mount Rushmore of athletes. And give him credit. He went in there and changed the culture. But let's be real about who the real MVP was. It was Todd Bowles, and it was that defense, because that defense was just relentless all game long. So kudos to Todd Bowles in that. And like I said, it was just a tremendous performance, man. I didn't see it coming. Honestly, I just did not see it coming.
No. I tested that. I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be, somewhat close.
I thought it was going to be competitive.
I thought it was going to be somewhat close because I can't say no because it wasn't anywhere close. And I was, boy, was I wrong. We were, we were definitely wrong. And even everyone that picked the Bucs on this show, they still had the Chiefs scoring. I think the minimum was like 17.
Yeah.
On the projections. So we didn't.
They didn't break double digits.
If I want to know what the odds were of Patrick Mahomes not throwing a touchdown in the game.
Oh man, what 200 to 1 or something like that, maybe?
No, they wouldn't be that crazy for Vegas, but it would have definitely been up there.
But when you look back on that, I mean, look
5 to 1 maybe
5 to 1. Okay, but that defense, that defense just teed off on the poor kid. I mean, you felt bad for him, man. I mean, he just playing with a turf toe and just literally running for his life.
Looked like he definitely looked like he was hurting back there.
But he was making some throws, man. I mean, he hit a couple of people in the face mask, and guys, McCall Hardman just like choked in the moment. The punter was shanking punts. Tyreek Hill dropped a touchdown. I mean, Kelsey dropped the key first, third down. I mean, people were letting him down all over the place. I mean, he was unbelievable, but nobody else showed up.
Yeah, no, and you can't win it alone. And like you said, Brady, he's up there, upper echelon for many different accolades. And I did the math after the game. He won his 5th MVP, Super Bowl MVP. So there's been 55 Super Bowls. He's been to 18% of those Super Bowls,
right?
For all 55, won 13% of all 55.
Yep.
And he's been the MVP in 9% of all the Super Bowls ever played. That is just insane if you think about it.
Crazy statistic, man. Just crazy statistic.
And, it was, kudos to him. Obviously he played well and doing it for a long time. And now it looks like he's going to.
And they're going to run it back again. Yeah, he's going to run it back again.
It is a possibility.
And yet the Chiefs are still favored to win the thing next year.
Well, of course. It's going to, they're always going to be up there. No doubt about it. But enough about the Super Bowl for now. Yeah. The man of the hour, our next guest, he's going to be joining us. He is a young, up-and-coming writer, and he wrote for places such as Rutgers, Boston College, Sports Illustrated, covered the Giants, and now he is accepting a job to be a sports fellow for Business Insider. Please help us in welcoming Jackson Thompson.
How's it going, guys?
Jackson, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Jackson, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on tonight.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Good time.
Appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. So, let's we always started at the beginning. Like, where did you develop a love for sports? Like, what are your teams? Where did that core moment, start for you?
Well, I played football in high school, and I was a big Giants fan. I was a big Yankees fan. I went to Rutgers, obviously. I kind of adopted them. I didn't really grow up as a big Rutgers fan, but going to school over there, seeing they have a very unique sports culture. If you know New York sports, it's not like that. It's not like it's almost like if you took the same types of people you'd see in a New York sports demographic, but it's a different kind of loyalty. They're not rooting for, things like money, like with some other New York teams. They're not rooting for things like, star power. It's just kind of like, we're Rutgers. That's all we got. We're Rutgers, we're New Jersey, because, it's a tortured fan base. They don't got a lot out there, not like the New York teams. So, things are looking up, though. Good basketball team, good football coach they hired, we'll see if things change around there, because that athletic department is spending a lot of money. They're spending a lot of money. As a student there, I understand the impact it had on my tuition. So that's a part of it. If you're a taxpayer, you care in New Jersey. So
yeah. So where are you? Like North Jersey? Mid Jersey, South?
Right now I'm in Robbinsville. That's Mercer County, which is where I grew up. Mercer County has Trenton. It has Princeton. It's very close to Philly and very close to New York. And I grew up around fans of Philly and New York, so it was a shit show, to say the least.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's such it's such a divided area there. So what brought you to, obviously you could have picked from the Eagles, you could have picked from the Giants, and you could pick from the Jets. What drew you to the Giants?
So the Giants, I really only claim two teams. That's my thing. I can't say to be a fan of all New York teams. I claim the Yankees and I claim the Giants. I claim the Yankees because that's, my family, going back to my, grandfather, great-grandfather. So, I'm pretty lucky in that sense. I've seen a lot of winning. And then for the Giants, I just kind of adopted them on my own because my family wasn't really a big football family. And the Giants were big time. I remember in 2011, I was in middle school, and that's when they won the chip with Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz is really popular in my area. That's the thing. He was, people wore his jersey. That's the jersey I saw most, really, growing up in Hightstown during that period of time, was Victor Cruz. And so I'm kind of like a bandwagon Giants fan in that sense, but I'm also from here, so it's cool.
Yeah, Jax, thank you for coming on. So you started your sports. You knew at a pretty young age you were going to be a reporter. You were a freelance high school sports reporter, right? Is that how you started your journalistic career?
Yep, New Jersey high school sports. The first event I ever covered professionally was a girls' soccer game, Robbinsville, where I'm living now, versus Lawrence. Which is, Robbinsville is a little bougie, I'll be honest. Lawrence is Lawrence is old school, So I go there. I remember this girls' soccer game. This is the first game I ever covered for NJ.com. Robbinsville is the big favorite. Lawrence, not the most talented area, but they had this coach who had a little bit of reputation as crazy, in a good way, of course. She loved her job the same way Tom Brady loves his job. So, and they just saw, a lot of people in high school sports, how seriously can you take it? It takes it takes a certain degree of crazy. And she was very famous in the area for her devotion to girls' soccer, and she brings them in there. They fall behind in the first minute. They're down 1-0.
Yeah.
Robbinsville's supposed to win. They feel good. They have a coach. She was a younger up and coming coach, very, very upbeat. Very popular in the area.
Yeah.
And she had her team feeling good. They're up 1-0. But at halftime, I remember she went over. I went over to both sidelines at halftime. And the Robbinsville coach, she was, we're good. We're gonna go to the next round. We're supposed to go to the next round. We're where we're supposed to be. She was, giving her team high five. I go over to the other sideline, and she's ripping into him. He was ripping into him. This was like, I played high school football for people, and I've seen some this was even like more, and it's nothing over the top. She was still doing all that, but she was getting into him. And then the second half, they don't score in the first couple minutes. They're back against. I'm not, as far as soccer terminology, I'm not the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but they keep them back in their half of the field, and then they just sneak one in. Lawrence sneaks one in, ties the game, and then a couple minutes pass, and a Lawrence girl. This is the most important part of the game. Kicks the ball into the face of a Robbinsville girl. And,
wow.
The coach was like, halt, stop, bring the trainer over. Yeah. And the Lawrence girl, you could tell she felt so bad. She said sorry, and the Robbinsville girl is crying. She got hit in the face with a ball in a state playoff game. And it hurt. So she's crying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Lawrence, they just dominate the rest of the game. And that was crazy. It was a big upset. That was my first story. And that's when I knew I wanted to be a sports reporter.
That's incredible. So let me ask you this. Yeah, as a sports reporter, after watching Super Bowl 55, what would you have written about that game? How they ended up, sort of the end result of it. How would you put that into words? Number
one, the peace stain on Tony Romo. The highest paid broadcaster in the sports world. That's the thing. If this is Tony Romo, he has if you don't know anything about the two teams playing, you can at least laugh at that. So,
right.
I didn't catch that.
Oh my! It was better than anything that happened in the game. Actually,
anything was better.
No.
Streaker.
I'm gonna, as bad as the game was, as much entertainment value as you could get out of a bad game, you got Pat Mahomes throwing the ball while he's falling to the ground, and he's putting it on a dime. Just seeing that was nuts. I know they were down and his teammates dropped the ball, but he still did the crazy Patrick Mahomes stuff in the game.
That was some crazy passes. He was literally parallel with the ground, and he just slings it on a dime, like he said. I was like, damn. And they missed it though.
And that's unfortunately, for Patrick Mahomes anyway, that's the sadder headline. But the big headline was Tom Brady and Tyrann Mathieu. You saw, that was cool, man. I'm a Tom. I guess I can't call myself a Tom Brady fan, but just seeing him, get into it with an old man who's supposed to be the stoic god of football, just saying, I'm going to talk some trash in the Super Bowl because why not? Because I'm going to go up to this guy who's the biggest trash talker on the other team, and he did it. Make sure the cameras saw it, and it's just Tom Brady saying, "I'm Tom Brady. I sued the NFL, and I'm winning Super Bowl number 7. I'm more than anyone else." More than
I wonder what he said to him. I didn't see the NFL films or anything.
There's a meme out there saying, "Hey, you got room for me next year?"
Oh man.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. You know how the NFL works now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
No, it was just it was a very interesting game, and that's a good take. As much entertainment value for a bad game that you can get. So I guess we did get that. With Mahomes running for his life and the Tyrann Mathieu and the Tom Brady stuff. So you mentioned that you played football in high school. Did what position, and did you ever think about trying to go a little farther with it?
No, I was a defensive end. I knew I seen what college football, and there's if I really really wanted to, I could work my ass off and get into one of those junior college programs.
Yeah.
But I knew that wasn't my future. I was always a writer. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to get a book published. That was always my big goal. So I knew whatever I wanted to do. But football was awesome because it doesn't matter how talented you are in high school. If you work hard enough, you get to be. It was just important. Football is important to people. It's a lot of my teammates it was important to, and people put they give a lot to make sure it happens. And my coaches, my teammates, And, that's really what it taught me more than anything. I never thought of myself as an athlete that was going to play in college or anything. I just kind of did it because football is important, especially for a local town. I want to contribute in some way. And, I'm lucky I didn't have to go and join the Army like my grandfathers did. That's better. It's, you say when you're young, you're supposed to contribute, and that helps you a lot in journalism too. So, that's really what it was more than anything else. And it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. I was more of a JV player. My senior year, I played some varsity, but I was more of and just JV was, for someone who didn't take football as seriously, but still took it seriously enough. It was like Monday afternoon, you got a game, you get on the bus with your boys, and then obviously JV has to end at some point. And then varsity, my senior year, I got to actually start at nose tackle. I was originally DN. They switched me to nose tackle, and I was able to, we won 3 games. We won 3 games, and for my high school, that was actually pretty impressive. I went. They had a bunch of losing seasons in a row. They've actually had their best season recently. I went to a couple games this year, and it's so weird because of the pandemic and all that. They found a way to just work their best under the pandemic in terrible circumstances. And I think when I was there, we always had to work through terrible circumstances. So, we were heights not right. We had losing season after losing season, and it was just something, people, it does kind of infect the culture, but the coronavirus, and, I guess it took a heavier toll on kids from better programs because, it's for them is like, oh man, this is supposed to be my ticket to get into college, and now my health is at risk and all that. So, high school football for, the bigger, more powerful high school programs, which in New Jersey, there are a lot. Some of the best high school football programs in the universe are in New Jersey. You know about Don, but and it's,
Bosco Prep.
I didn't go to one of those. I didn't go to one of those.
No, you went to the Jets equivalent of high schools.
That's insulting to the Jets, man.
Yeah, I know.
They're good. They've turned it around. I talked to the coach. He's a good guy. He's overcome a lot. He beat cancer. He's also a business teacher at the school, and
nice.
So they, it just goes to show you sometimes when you're handed a terrible situation, if you can make the best of it, you'll be the best. Or over 500, you'll see a lot of people in life. That's pretty good.
Yeah, like you touched on with the coronavirus and stuff. Like I hear them talking about it on the radio out here. Like Boomer and Geo, I heard talking about it a lot. Like people would call in and be like, my son's really good, but they're shutting down all the football programs out here in Long Island and just New York in general. And people are actually trying to move to places like New Jersey where they're still playing, so their kids could still have that opportunity to showcase their talents, because they're sitting there seniors and they'll never get a chance to play if they stay here because of coronavirus. But obviously safety is the most important thing. Yeah. But they these parents were like pretty much adamant. They're like, no, we need to sending them to live with uncles and aunts or just picking up and moving. Like it's crazy. Obviously it's huge in like Texas because they have Friday night lights over there, and it's like a spectacle over there, with high school football. But yeah, I went to Texas once, and people are like, oh, let's go check out some Friday night lights and whatever. I'm like, really? You guys just do that? You just go to a random high school and watch a game? I'm like, that was something that I definitely never have experienced up here in New York. But
heck no, man. Heck no.
But to talk to us about because you played, how that has impacted your writing. Like obviously you've learned a lot of things through being in locker rooms, through studying playbooks, through studying formations and stuff like that. Has that trickled into the things that you're writing now, that you're working as a beat writer or whatnot?
Well, when I cover football, it's fun because, when you cover a team like on a 365 basis, there's no days off when you're covering the NFL or college football for that matter. Even at Rutgers, there's always something going on. Right. Like it's not necessarily win. There's always something going on. They got, this coach. You hear about Greg Schiano? You guys?
Yeah, I know Greg Schiano.
Oh,
yeah.
That was just an episode, man, at Rutgers, because that deal almost fell. It was announced that the deal was not happening. It was reported, by NJ.com, which is the big news source. Like, Greg Schiano contract falls apart. And then I remember there was protests at the basketball game the next night of people, Rutgers fans saying, we need Schiano. How can we let this happen? And then a week passes, board of trustee members and shareholders and all that, people are pulling their money out of the program saying, if you don't get this guy, we're not giving you any more money. So they agree they come to terms with Schiano, and then it has to go through the board of trustees. That's the Rutgers administration that makes the final decisions on everything. And they held a public meeting, open to the media. I remember going to this. I skipped class to go to it.
Gotta play hooky sometime, right?
Yeah.
If you had one, I mean, they're going, and anyone can come in. Like, it was great. It's public. At Rutgers is good. Rutgers has excellent, very respectful sports administration, sports communication information people. And this wasn't even that. This was just Rutgers. This was the board of trustees, and you saw so many people. They gave opposition time to protest, and I was like, this is what I came here for. Angry Rutgers professors and locals just giving their piece about why this is a bad move, knowing it's not going to work. 100% that the board of trustees is going to pass. These are just angry New Jersey people come say why it's bad. And they come in one by one, and you're talking about one of the bio professors just burned them. He says, we treat head injuries, and you have to at least treat us with as much precedence as you are the people causing head injuries. I'm like, whoa, that's really OD.
Yeah.
And my favorite one, this guy runs New Brunswick Today. It's a local publication in New Brunswick where Rutgers is. And it covers, New Brunswick. It's very, very startup. It's one guy who runs it. His name's Charlie Cradaville. Just like he's like, how I was talking about the women's soccer coach?
Yep.
The coach, I forget her name, but that coach of what local journalism was, Charlie Cradaville. Yeah. He went up there, and I remember the line. He goes up and he says, he complains about the time. Like, he says, you've only been giving us 60 minutes to protest, but you originally said you were going to give us, or 60 seconds to protest, but you originally said you were going to give us 90. He's like, why are you taking our time away? And she says, Mr. Cradaville, your time is running. He says, Mr. Cradaville, your time is running. And the board of trustees passes it. I get the tweet out. It was one of my most liked tweets in college. I was very privileged to be able to cover that. In my opinion, as a senior at Rutgers, I was a transfer to Rutgers. I only did 2 years at Rutgers. I went to community college right out of high school, and then I went to Rutgers for those last 2 years, where a lot of excitement happened with the basketball team too. And going back to what you asked about covering football, and this was with both Rutgers and the Giants, just going through, you got to go through off season, which is no days off. Football off season, we had to wake up at 5 a.m. sometimes to get to morning training, because when you're in high school, everything's booked after school for the in-season sports. So if you're in off season, you have to come in before school opens. Knowing what it takes to be in college and even in the pros, just going through the doldrums, how that transitions into mini camp, into training camp, into preseason games and cuts, and conditioning. The Giants head coach Joe Judge became infamous for making his players do conditioning, which is incredible when you think about how people could complain about a coach making his players do conditioning. And it was, relating to that, seeing what, knowing how the doldrums and how the schedule flows and just the natural order of football. So that was fun to write about. That was something I could write about very personally.
That's incredible. For our viewers who, they watch football and all sports. I mean, I guess, were you surprised when you started covering the Giants how it's a day-to-day grind? Like, it's a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365. I mean, did that surprise you that it was a constant day-to-day thing? There was no lull time. It was just, metal to the pedal the whole way.
Well, believe it or not, I had to take it didn't pay very much, at the beginning. So, I went through the entire training off-season draft training camp as part of that day-to-day grind.
Yeah.
But then, just being in there growing, I had to take on a part-time job as well to supplement. So yeah, that balancing that was pretty intense. And also, especially as it got later in the season, you felt it, like this Giants team. And the best part about them was they picked it up going later into the season. They were like 0-5, 1-7, and they still found a way to be in it till the very last game of the season.
Yeah.
Eagles played Nate Sudfeld and lose the game and then give the division title to the Washington football team. And that was an interesting moment on Giants Twitter. That was up there with the Greg Schiano protests.
Okay.
About how that went down.
And Brady would have lost the Giants again.
Exactly.
If the Giants made it. I'm still convinced.
Yeah, Nate Sudfeld inadvertently took down the potential Chiefs dynasty by being terrible. Think about it. He flicked the first domino.
Well, Nate Sudfeld was in because Doug Peterson put him in. So really, it's Doug Peterson.
Yeah,
he's gone.
Doug Peterson, who doesn't have a job right now, he's floating in the ether with one of the most. He's like Thanos. Yeah, like one of the most consequential decisions that changed the outcome of the NFL, and he's just chilling, a grateful world.
Did you Did you get, because our very first episode, we had Christian Angulo. Did you get a chance to meet him? And
oh my God, I never got a chance to interview him. I did a story on him after it was announced that Sam Beal was opting out of the season. Sam Beal was supplementary draft pick a couple years ago. Who was supposed to be one of those big players in the secondary for him. You know, they took him. He was a highly touted prospect. They used a very complicated system of resources to acquire him. And his first year, he was injured. His second year, he was injured until the end, and now this year he's opting out. So the Giants are like, and then the DeAndre Baker thing happened.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And the DeAndre Baker thing happened. So the Giants are like, wow. So they did two things. They signed Logan Ryan, and they needed to find a corner out of the undrafted free agents. Christian Angulo, who was unfortunately cut after one of the preseason games, I remember.
Yeah.
Well, one of the scrimmages, but people were saying he could be that guy. I seen one of the scrimmages, based on like the intangibles, like speed and hip movement. And he was just like, you saw the athleticism to play the position was there.
Right.
But, when you're an undrafted free agent rookie in an off season like we just had, where it's just been completely unconventional, it's put a big barrier to a lot of people who probably would have thrived otherwise. A lot of undrafted free agents that might be sitting on the couch right now. So, I mean, he was one of those guys that unfortunately just, being an undrafted free agent out of Hampton, which is an HBCU, I talked to his coach. That's the one person I can get in touch with, because getting in touch with an active player on the roster is kind of complicated, especially when it's like an undrafted free agent like Christian Angulo. They don't want to necessarily divert media resources to him.
Got it.
But I did talk to his coach. I learned, he transferred his last year. He has all the intangibles, and I think he's going to get picked up. I think he's going to get picked up, and I think he could be a starter.
Wow.
From what I hear, I can't make any bold. I think Christian Angulo could play. He was excellent HB at Hampton. He was he was one of the best corners in that conference, and it's not a brand of football that a lot of people pay attention to, but for where he comes from, he has a lot of potential. So I think he's going to get picked up.
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, he is related to a friend of mine, and so we had him on the show for the first episode of this show, and he's just a great kid, really humble, but and he's just got great athleticism. Yeah, and he's training. I mean, he keeps training, looking for an opportunity. And then I want to ask. So now you're a fellow at Business Insider, right? This is at Business Insider is something different, because this is more of like what people on Wall Street read, whatever. Tell us about that. Like, how did that come about? How'd you get involved with them?
Oh yeah, no, it's they have they have this great fellowship program which is open to recent graduates, and they appreciated my work, and they they cover sports not too different than the way you'd see on stuff like Bleacher Report or ESPN. They have people that specialize in certain things that are a little more niche, like overseas UFC fighting. And what I really want to get into is student athlete rights. That I want to do a lot of that. And from covering college football, I have a couple people I could talk to about stories for that. And it's a really good rising brand of sports journalism. And whether it's my writing or reading, or whether it's some of our other writers, because we have writers covering stuff all over the world, and I recommend you follow it because it's good journalism.
No, it is. Yeah,
journalism is important right now, especially honest journalism.
Yeah.
And sports, sports are just important regardless. So I think you'd have to give it a look.
Amen to that, man.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And you just started there, correct?
I start next week.
Okay.
Awesome. So we'll definitely be on the lookout. So at your time with the Giants, I know it was a little different this year with coronavirus and COVID, so you couldn't necessarily be on the field for, scrimmages like, sideline reporters would be normally. But you did meet a couple of players. You did sit on a couple of scrimmages. Who did you get an opportunity to, actually sit there and meet, 6 feet apart or whatever, what have you?
No. Reporters did nothing, but it was all virtual. The risk of COVID spread was so high you couldn't see. I saw footage of the scrimmages and such.
Gotcha.
I saw footage of it, and the Giants are very, they're very, very, good. They have good connections with their, with their media. They're very honest and reputable organization when it comes to media relations. And
got it.
They allowed us access. They were generous enough to allow me access to interview a couple players, and I got to talk to Matt Pert, who is a rookie offensive tackle out of UConn. Grew up a Giants fan.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing about him is that he's from the Bronx. He grew up in the Bronx, same place Saquon Barkley is from.
Oh wow!
And he grew up in the Bronx, but he was born in Jamaica, and he came to the Bronx was a kid with his mom, his aunt, his other aunt, his grandmother, and they all worked as teachers at his school. So he got to go to school, and basically his teachers were his mom, his aunt, his other, and you better make sure he's going to be an honor student, and he got accepted into the best honors program, because having your mom, your aunt, your other aunt as your teacher will do that. You'll end up being the best, and you'll get an honors scholarship to this private football program up in New England. He originally he went into high school. He was recruited in high school to play basketball. He's so tall, and he was had a good. I don't know about his jumper, but he's. But then he was influenced to play football as well, because he just loved the game. He loved the Giants. He loved the fact that he saw them beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Every year, that gets more impressive.
Yeah, right.
We loved it too.
Eli, man, he's on that level, man.
And he got to start actually. He got in a lot because the Giants did their thing with this with their offensive line where they had a rotation. It was very unconventional. They would siphon different offensive linemen in throughout the game, and you usually see that a lot with things like defensive linemen. Fresh, get people in for certain packages. You'll see it with running backs, depending on because you got to give your top running back a break on the sideline. You got to get some other guys in there for different situations, and they were doing that with offensive linemen, which you really never see in the NFL. But they had no choice because the Giants' offensive line, they were saying to themselves, it literally can't be any worse than this. Saquon Barkley had like 1 yard in the season opener. Then he got hurt. Daniel Jones getting sacked like 6 times a day. We got to try. And it actually worked. The Giants' offensive line got much better in the second half of the year. And they kept it up. And Matt Pert was a big part of that. Matt Pert was, if you look at Pro Football Focus, they're great. He was exceptional. And, it was a much smaller sample size than some of these other offensive tackles. But, there's a lot of problems in him maybe as the right tackle because they're going to lose Cam Fleming and Nate Solder probably. So I think Matt Pert. Another guy I got to talk was fullback Eli Penny, who he's a fullback. He's also he's an undrafted free agent. Yep. He came in as a special teamer with he spent his rookie season on the practice squad, special teamer on the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Really good one. He worked his tail off to be a really good special teamer on the Cardinals, and he's a place fullback. So later in the year, when the Cardinals really weren't playing for anything, they gave him some carries, and they saw this kid could run too. And then the Giants picked him up. And he's been there for a couple of years now, and he scored he got the ball a pretty decent amount.
Yeah, I remember him getting the ball a few times.
Yeah, he had to. Saquon Barkley, Devontae Freeman got hurt, and it was cool. And the thing about him is, like, he really was a very popular locker room presence. From when I talked to him, he talked about how he learned from Adrian Peterson and Larry Fitzgerald when he was in Arizona those couple of years, how to be a good locker room presence, because that was the other thing that was special about those guys, like Larry and AP. Not all, people talk about Tom Brady as a locker room presence, super competitive, but then there's guys like Larry Fitzgerald who are a little bit different. Not to say Larry Fitzgerald's not competitive, but he brings charisma, and he brings a good energy to your practice, which Eli Penny prided himself on.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, you mentioned that you wanted to talk about student athletes, and that's an interesting topic. So, what's your opinion on that? I mean, I'm of the opinion that, these kids are coming out of high school with their own brands. I think if you can work at 18 or you can join the military, you can start making money off your name right away. You got these coaches who are making $7, $8, $10 million. They're making, these players are putting their lives on the line. They're going out making money for these coaches. Like, what are your thoughts around the student athlete sort of being able to make some money while he's in college before he gets to the pros?
Well, I've talked to student athletes about the situation. I've talked to coaches about the situation. I've talked to professors about the situation. And of course, I'd have to talk to college sports administration about the situation. And the truth is, I can't tell you what's right or wrong. I can't, because you also got to consider all the stuff that goes on around the country with under the table payments at certain programs. It's been reported, So it's a very complicated issue. And as a journalist, I feel like I should not necessarily take a stance one way or the other. Mm-hmm. I try not to have an opinion on it, but report on it accurately because it's important. Like, I might not necessarily take a side, but I know it's important. So I got to treat it with objectivity and understand that there's a lot of different arguments that mean, everything to certain people. If you talk, people that really believe that it's the right thing to pay student athletes, there's not really a whole lot of convincing otherwise. Same deal, vice versa. They have their own fundamental reasons why or college athletes should not be paid. And it's going to shape, I think, the next decade. You're going to see it's going to be in the limelight like it's never been before, and we could see revolutionary changes. But we could also not, and it's my job to report on it without necessarily taking a side.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know that you can pay all of them. I mean, like, certain sports aren't generating the revenue, right? But if I think these kids should be allowed to make money. I mean, they shouldn't, yes, they get in a scholarship, but some of them have a brand, like, let's say they're YouTube influencers, but at least it's a way to make money. So I'm of the opinion that, it's America. They should be allowed to make some money. If you're bringing 80,000 people into a stadium, they should be able to make money. What do coaches and administrators that you've talked to, what are their thoughts around it? I mean, are they pro or con? I mean, what are you hearing out there?
Well, you have to look at the big change that was made last year, about a year and a half ago. I was at Rutgers at the time. Was they can now make money off their likeness,
right?
And which I think is awesome. I personally, it would be awesome to see one of my classmates, one of my, do something like expand their brand in that way, because that's the least they could. I mean, it's good for the game,
Yeah.
Well, it's good for the game. Popularize college basketball. It's a wonderful sport. Let the players popularize it the same way NBA players can. College football. Some of the most, guys have unbelievable careers in college football. Sometimes it's more special than the NFL at times in college, and let them make money off their stories and, what they work for, like, even if you're not necessarily paying them, if people respect them enough and people admire them to, make them that kind of brand, then they absolutely should. If I, as a student journalist, what if I wasn't allowed to use Twitter to put Twitter on my resume or whatever, something like that,
right.
That's a different conversation, but, it's like, the likeness thing is important. And that's cool. That's cool to see. I can't say if it's right or wrong, But the big pioneer for that was LeVar Ball.
With Big
Baller Brand,
Big Baller Brand, yeah.
He was trash in the media. Everyone said, "Oh my God, this guy's obnoxious. He says he could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. He's going on he's just trying to get on ESPN," which he did.
Yeah.
He was one of the
he's all over ESPN, yeah.
For a couple of weeks, him and his sons. And Alonzo, he got to the end. Melo's really good. Melo's excellent. And this guy LeVar Ball championed this thing, for his sons, for his family, where it was seen as a big social justice power move. Like, I'm gonna get them to brand. And you saw Zion do the same thing, and so it's cool. It's a cool time to be into college sports. It's a revolutionary time for college sports, I think, at least from a communication perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously starts with those, those very outspoken, people that just, won't take no for an answer, like those LeVar Balls, and if it means, challenging Michael Jordan to a game to get a little bit more, airtime, then
God, that might be
it,
right? Stocks and Big Baller Brand would crash if Michael Jordan actually played. People would watch that, and we can never wear a Big Baller Brand ever again.
Yeah,
if we actually saw that. So, if you could do it.
I don't think Jordan would ever accept the
challenge. But that'd be beneath him if he accepted
that would probably also hurt the Jordan brand, no matter what he does. Like
exactly.
Well, maybe he didn't accept it because he was going to lose. Oh, no, that wasn't going to happen. But yeah, I mean, it's an exciting time, like you said, and it's going to be interesting to see, what the next 5 to 10 years does for it, because these college players, a lot of them, they don't go on to play in the big leagues, but if they are good in college and they are bringing in those people, and bringing fans into those stands to watch them play, why not make a couple of bucks on the side, and especially with, social media being the way it is, and, they could definitely capitalize on a lot of different brands and whatnot, just to put their face on something and be recognized. But I'm not really big on college football. I need to get a little bit more into it. But I know, like, the Trevor Lawrence thing, like he can market his headband with a wig, attached to it, and that would sell like hotcakes anywhere you go, I'm sure. I know a lot of Jets fans would like to buy it, because they're never going to see that quarterback in a Jets uniform.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, we'll see. Maybe there's a glimmer of hope that Justin Fields goes to Jacksonville, but I'm not gonna put my money on that.
Listen, it's signed, sealed, certified.
It's done. Yeah.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer. Oh man, that'll be fun. That'll get. I think that might get college sports some more popularity if that thing ends up going. If that thing ends up going down there in Florida, Florida's a special place to be right now. If you think about it,
it is. They got Stanley Cup champions. They got Super Bowl champions down there.
Participants, but that's almost appropriate for the race.
Yeah.
What happened?
Super Bowl or World Series participants, but that's just
World Series participants as well.
It's appropriate for the race, exactly.
No, but seriously, they've been on fire, and obviously you got the Heat. The Heat were in the finals. It's really between California and Florida, just like racking up the appearances. With the exception of Kansas City in just this game, but they didn't actually show up.
I got you. What teams did you guys grow up rooting for, by the way?
Well, we're Jets fans. I'm a Mets fan.
I like how you said that. Well, we're Jets fans.
Yeah. I'm a Mets fan.
Jets got a great coach. Mets got a good owner. Not a bad time to be a Jets or Mets fan.
I'm definitely looking forward to the Mets season, and pitchers and catchers start reporting this week. So let's see what happens. But Rick has had some success.
Yeah, I'm a Yankee fan. Obviously, I'm a Jet fan. I'm a diehard Knicks fan. I think it's Knicks, Jets, Yankees for me, and then the Rangers. Obviously, but Knicks. I mean, I am all in on the Knicks, man. I got them on right now. I'm all. They got Knicks pajamas. I'm all about the Knicks, man.
Yeah,
Die hard. Die hard Knicks.
Crazy, man. Derrick Rose, his first game.
I think he has like 15 points or something like that. I mean, he's playing well. I mean, they're playing the Heat.
Garden's about to become an exciting place myself. I mean, it was already getting there this year, but I think Derrick Rose is going to be must-see TV.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Jackson. So, and this last one for me, what is the book that you said you want to write a book? What are you thinking about writing? Like, what kind of book you want to write?
It's not about sports, the book I want to write.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could write one book in my life. It's about I want to write about the future, like the future of just like society.
And where do you think it's going? Now that we're in a pandemic and it looks like we're starting to get out of it.
Well, he can't give away the
plot.
plot.
I mean,
Here's one. You ever read 1984?
With Orson Welles or whatever it was?
Orson Welles. You ever see the movie?
I believe I did, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite book. I want to write something similar to that.
Okay.
Sociological fantasy, something like that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could get sports involved very heavily in something like that too. That's that's the fun part of it, Yeah. But not necessarily about specifically sports.
Got it.
Look at this. Yo, we just had. Is this the first podcast you've ever been on?
I went on a couple with my editor, Patricia Trainer, where we talked some Giants. I did one for the website I used to write for, Double G Sports. I did a couple in college, for the school newspaper every once in a while.
Yeah.
But nothing as big as this, to be honest.
Wow. Thank you, man.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, no.
Cool. But we got the new age Nostradamus on the show, Rick.
Yeah.
He's gonna write the book on the future, and everything is gonna come to fruition. Are the Jets winning the Super Bowl at all in the future? I know it's not about sports, but you're talking about crazy shit. So I think Jets winning the Super Bowl.
Right. Now you have to write like a very consequential bet into the book. What do I put my money on? So this could affect the credibility of my book. I
got it.
I think I have to play it safe and bet the Jets to win a Super Bowl. They got a really good one too.
Okay.
Oh man!
Right, man.
Did either of you see the little video about like Tom Brady playing in the Super Bowl like for the next 40 years?
Oh my god! It wouldn't surprise me, man, the way that guy is.
I mean,
but it was just it was satire, but obviously he's playing up against Lamar Jackson in 3 years. Then he's playing against Baker in 2028, and then in 2030 something, he's gonna play against Balin Breeze, and then
crazy
5 years later he's gonna be playing against the Patriots and Jack Brady, his son, and then in 2050 he's gonna be playing on the moon. And he was wearing Thanos gloves, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah. I might write that into my book.
There you go.
There you go.
Before the Jets win a Super Bowl, all that will happen.
Well, okay. I definitely think Brady playing against his son in the Super Bowl is more realistic than the Jets winning one. I mean, I will have to say that. If we're gonna go on odds, I like the odds of that.
I'm just kidding. But yeah.
And definitely Frank Gore playing against his son. I mean, that's definitely realistic.
Well, what do you think about this new Jets coach?
I'll reserve my judgment until I could see him win a game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've heard a lot of good things about him, but we've been let down before.
Exactly.
Obviously, the disaster of Allegate, so I got to see it to believe it, man. I got to see, what it's all about. Who's the quarterback? What are they going to do in the draft? What kind of defense? I need to see the whole thing before I'm saying, I'm sold on Robert Saleh. And even in the first year, because Jet coaches have gone to the playoffs in the first year. Even Rex Ryan a couple of years, and then it's gone downhill. So, I'm a wait and see kind of guy.
I got you. Of course.
Well, let's be real. Did you even have any morsel of hope when Adam Gase was hired in the first place?
Oh man, probably not.
I didn't. I knew it was a mistake from the get-go. So I definitely didn't have optimism going into that hiring.
Weird press conference with the eyes and all that.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. Yeah, there it is.
With the tacos and whatnot. Yeah. But Jackson, thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you on, and good luck, best of luck with everything at the Business Insider. We'll definitely be tuning in to see what you contribute over there. And good luck on the book as well. And definitely keep us posted on it. We'll definitely share it with our audience as well.
All right. It'll be a while, but
hey, we're going to be here a while.
Yeah, we'll be here a while.
We're going to be here until the Jets win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're going to be here for a while. But listen, if you break a big story or whatever, please come back on the show and talk about it if you get a chance. We'd love to have you on, man.
Yeah, you've always got a home here. So let us just shoot us a text and let us know.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great night.
Thanks, Jax. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Oh, hold on 1 second. Hold on.
What do we got?
That was impromptu, but my battery was dying right there. I didn't want to lose it right there, but it was close.
Oh, for the laptop?
Yeah, I forgot to plug it in. We were touch and go there for a little bit right there. But
okay, all right.
But Jackson Thompson, ladies and gentlemen, follow him on the Business Insider. Man, I can't wait. I'm gonna keep an eye out for him, man. I read Business Insider every morning, but I want to keep an eye out for the stories. But real sharp kid, man. I'm looking forward to reading that book too. Interesting.
Yeah, very polished for being such a young writer.
Yeah, he's real polished. I'm very impressed with him.
Mm-hmm.
And as right now, watching the Knicks here, 94-94, minute 30 left in Miami. So,
yeah, and very politically correct and very even keel, understanding the game, and that's something not a lot of people realize. People just want to go out there and do their own thing and not be, utmost professional about certain things that they do.
Yeah.
Out there.
It felt like talking
garbage.
Yeah. Like talking to him felt like talking like a professional, journalist, man. Like he really, he is, but one of the top,
of course. Yeah. Somebody that's been doing it for a couple decades.
Yeah, man. He had that sort of gravitas about him. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was a absolute pleasure having him on.
Yeah,
so I wanted to touch on it a little bit, a couple of segues, but I wanted to save it for news and notes. Okay. But we were talking a lot about the Jets during there, but there are rumblings.
Oh, here we go.
Rumblings that Russell Wilson could possibly be on the market. Now, there was nothing explicitly said about him being up for trade talks.
Yeah.
But when Russell Wilson was asked if he is, involved in any trades, he says that it's a Seahawks thing. Talk to them or something along those lines.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely not involved in any trade talks.
Yeah.
So, is it just hogwash, or is there some kind of truth behind it, or maybe some kind of rumblings that it could possibly happen? And, there are also talks that, the Jets could be a suitor, so we're talking about Deshaun Watson. We're talking about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I would like the Jets to land one of those, but it does scare me with all of the prices that have been floating around the league. You had Stafford go for Goff and 2 picks,
right,
to LA. I mean, that's ridiculous. There was rumblings about Wentz, but it looks like they've kind of stopped because the Eagles want too much.
The Eagles want a fortune for the guy.
So it's looking like Wentz for Foles, Tariq Cohen, and a pick.
Okay.
And I think the Bears just can't agree to that. But why is Nick Foles being included in a trade back to Philadelphia? How many times is this guy going to play for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I have no idea.
If it happens.
Yeah, quickly on the Russell Wilson thing, I don't see the Jets making. I mean, they're going to call and do their due diligence.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't think he's going anywhere. That could be, but I just can't see the Jets giving up prime. He's 32 years old. I don't know that you give up that kind of draft capital for him. He's great. Don't get me wrong. He's won a Super Bowl.
You'd rather want Watson if you're gonna.
Yeah, you want Watson. Watson's 25, and even Deshaun. Look, man. The only way I'm making a trade to trade my whole draft is for Patrick Mahomes. Okay, I even for Deshaun Watson in his prime. Again,
mind you, let me bring that up because I was thinking about it. The last couple of days.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes could not score a touchdown Sunday, right?
Yeah.
He was running for his life.
Right.
Deshaun Watson's been doing that his entire career.
Okay.
He's been running for his life his entire career, and he's still been putting up numbers. Granted, Patrick Mahomes had to do it up against a good defense in the Super Bowl. So you can't take anything away from Mahomes. But the fact is, Watson knows how to handle situations like that.
Yeah.
And so I mean, in a backdoor way. Is Watson better than Mahomes?
No.
I know it's not that far, but he can figure out how to play in high pressure situations like he has always done in his entire career. And Patrick Mahomes has had that offensive line that Watson did not have the luxury to have at any point in his career. So I'm just saying Watson might be better than the numbers actually show. Is he better than Patrick Mahomes? No. But is he better than he's been playing? Yeah, possibly.
Look, Tom Brady won Super Bowl MVP. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody's better than Patrick Mahomes at this point. That guy's the stud of the league. Josh Allen's getting close, but still doesn't play in his league.
I think Watson's better than Allen.
Maybe. I mean, there's a debate there. But here's the thing. Here's the thing I keep going back to. Watson was up 24-7. They couldn't put him away in Kansas City. And so that's what I keep going back to. I just think that for what these teams want for the draft capital, man, I don't know that you blow it up to get one of these guys. And like we've talked about it before, Deshaun Watson walks in, you're giving up 5 picks, and then how do you build a team around him? You just don't. So again, I don't see the Jets going after Russell Wilson. I think they'll make the call, they'll inquire, but they won't go after him. Deshaun Watson, I think the Jets are going to be in. They're going to make an offer. I don't know if they'll land him because I just don't think that team is prime for him. And so, for the Jets, I think it's a draft pick or you stick with Sam and build around there. And it's funny, you saw Patrick Mahomes run for close to 500 yards when he didn't have an offensive line. Sam Darnold's been doing that for 3 years. Yeah, you draft Penei Sewell, like you build another line, you get some weapons for him, and you protect them. I mean, Sam could show you something.
So Sam Darnold's going to be like Patrick Mahomes?
No, not even close to Patrick Mahomes. But what I'm saying is if you give him some protection, maybe at least he can be a decent quarterback,
Nah, I don't know. I don't have any faith in him becoming something. Definitely not in a Jets uniform.
Yeah, no, somewhere else, absolutely. As the Knicks.
Yes, somewhere else, yes, there's a possibility. There's a fleeting chance that he could turn into something, but I think the Darnold experiment is over. Yeah, yep. And we'll see how it plays out, and I would take Wentz if these Bears trade falls through, but it would have to be. I don't know. But it would have to be. Not for a king's ransom,
But that's the thing.
Who's better, Foles or Darnold? Foles won a world.
He's won a Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl MVP.
Won a Super Bowl, but I still think Darnold could.
Yeah,
I think it's close.
Listen, Sam Darnold hasn't done anything in 3 years. He's inconsistent. He's hurt a lot. I mean,
yeah, but so is Foles.
Yeah, well,
okay. Foles has had a couple of 7 touchdown games.
There you go.
And then he's got a Super Bowl trophy. Did he win MVP too?
Yeah, I think he won Super Bowl MVP that game. Yeah.
Fucking Foles beat Brady, and fucking Mahomes couldn't put the fucking touchdown up.
Dude, Mahomes was running for his life, man. And the guy he's having turf toe surgery tomorrow, so you can tell it was more serious than what they let on.
But Brady lost to Nick Foles and Eli Manning twice.
Yeah.
And Mahomes. Brady beating Mahomes is one thing, but Mahomes not even scoring a touchdown.
That's not on him, man. Look,
I know it's not on
He
Brady.
hit two guys in the end zone. They dropped it, man. I mean, and the guy was making circus throws. Not on him. Listen, he played to the last play. Like, that guy came to play. Everybody else choked. They didn't show up. Kelsey, under the bright lights, choked. Mecole Hardman choked. Tyreek Hill couldn't do anything. They didn't show up. That's what happened. They took a beating, and he took a beating. He got beat up pretty bad in that game, man.
Yeah.
So,
my light keeps falling. So we got what was the other news that we did not mention last time around? Trevor Bauer.
Yep. And that shit show that happened.
Playing playing and teasing the teams around the league, and mostly the Mets. And decided to go with the Los Angeles Dodgers, who now are the overwhelming favorites to repeat.
Yeah.
I'm not completely disappointed, that we didn't, spend the big bucks and leverage, and handicap us and handcuff us for the Confortos and everyone coming up.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see Bauer in for at least this year, but that just wasn't in the cards. And, but the Mets did make a couple of moves. They signed another infielder. They signed an outfielder. Who was it? Alfredo Almaro or something
like that.
Yeah. Or something like that.
Yeah.
So at least making some small moves. But, I think overall the Mets have an exciting season coming up. And,
I'm with you on that.
Trevor Bauer or not, I like the upgraded catcher. We did get an upgraded pitcher, with Carrasco at least.
Mm-hmm.
We upgraded our bullpen. We got Dom Smith back, McNeil, Alonso, Conforto. Conforto, I feel like this is going to be the year he takes that step up, Conforto. Because he's been in it for a minute now, and I think he has all the, he's polished the tools enough to where he could take it to the next level. And we got a good infield. Francisco Lindor. Let's not forget to mention him. I'm excited. I am.
You
excited.
should be. Listen, I'm not a Met fan, obviously, but I think that him going to Los Angeles was the best thing. I don't think he's been made for this market. I don't think he would have been able to handle the media. I don't think he would have been able.
What do you think? How do you think the Los Angeles market is
that's different over there. Like Los Angeles, they're so when the team's doing great, they're there. When they're not, listen, they're going to the beach. They're worrying about the Lakers. The Lakers, I think, are bigger than the Dodgers out there. So I wouldn't worry. It's not as glaring as it is New York, right? And so I think him being this spotlight, it would have been. I think it wouldn't have been good for him. He would probably said something stupid, or they would have been all over him. So I think the Mets lucked out, because if you would have paid him what he's getting, he's getting $80 million for the first 2 years, and then another, right? You have to give DeGrom more money after that. Like you couldn't go. I don't know that you could go into the season and not have DeGrom have the highest contract. I mean, you would have to renegotiate that contract. So, which he will get his money. But I think the Trevor Bauer deal falling through was good. He was trolling Met fans. Look, he knew he didn't want to come here. He wanted to go to LA. He was just trolling Met fans and bothering people. And at the end of the day, I think it worked out for the Mets. Good for him. Good riddance. He goes out to the West Coast, does his dumb shit out there, and leave him out there. So you're doing well. But look, I think the Mets are going to have a good team. They're going to be competitive. I think they're going to go to the playoffs. I mean, I think they're going to get one of those wild cards and get in there. We've been saying it for however long it is. You got Lindor in there now. You got Carrasco. You got DeGrom. You got Syndergaard, and you got Stroman. But you got Syndergaard, DeGrom, and Carrasco in a 5-game series, in a 7-game series. If Edwin Diaz can find his groove back, and you got Betances back there, man, I wouldn't want to face him. I mean, you just wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, always with the Mets, things are looking good.
Yeah, on paper.
Here we go. A little optimism here. A little optimism.
Yeah. Well, all right. Maybe I don't think that Family Guy scene is gonna play this year, time around.
Understood.
I love that one though. I love it and I hate it. All right.
Well,
it's the Mets season opener, and
it's over. I remember hearing that on Boomer and Carton when it was back in the day.
Yeah. No,
that's why I heard it.
They play it every season.
Yeah.
Every season. But the Mets do, have a impeccable record on opening day.
Yeah. Well, look, man, like I said, things are changing. I think in New York, we got a new owner for the Mets. Like Jackson was saying, a new coach for the Jets. I think the Yankees are with the Yankees. And from what I've seen of the Rangers, are looking pretty good. And now this puts a bow on football season. It is over. So we will now, our focus will turn to baseball, little NBA. And then in a couple months, obviously, we'll focus on the draft with the other NHL.
Yeah, so, I mean, the draft's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, so spring is in the air. And, it's in about 90, what is it, about 45 days from now? So,
yeah, something like that. It doesn't quite look like it right now.
40 days. Spring is in 40 days.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah, March 21st, right?
Yeah, pitchers and catchers are reporting on what? Wednesday, Thursday?
I think they said February 11th. So
yeah, so there it is.
And I'm getting emails about season tickets for the Mets. So it looks like there's going to be a season with fans in the stands. At the time being, that is what they're billing it as. Yeah. So we will see what what happens, and I'm gonna just keep trying to make appointments to get my vaccine.
I've been trying to do that for my parents for like a week. Nothing.
All booked up everywhere. So
everywhere it's booked up. Well, it's a supply issue right now, but I think in a month it'll be a demand issue pretty soon. Where there'll be a lot of Johnson & Johnson's got to get their approval, and once they get their stuff out, then things will be good to go.
Yeah, I don't know. You trust Johnson & Johnson?
Yeah, man. Here's the thing about vaccines, people. These are public companies that are doing that. Like if they were faking all this stuff and people dying, like what happened? Just come on. So everybody just got listen. We're almost there, man. Like I think we're just a few months away from really just like starting to open up again. So we just got to hang tough, wear your mask, socially distant, wash your hands, and we'll all be at Citi Field watching the chug some beers in the upper deck and eat some hot dogs and smashing down some beers, and all is going to be good.
Section 530, right?
530 with a jersey that doesn't fit, slamming down beers every inning. It's great.
Oh, man.
How does that guy get home? I hope somebody drives that guy home, man. Dude, I really do.
The dude was chugging like 2 an inning. Like 2, just like that on the inning, break.
We got to get him on, man, and have him like drink a beer while he's on the show.
I don't even know if we have his name, but we have to figure him out.
Yeah, we'll do it. Definitely.
If he's still with us, God willing.
Jeez. All right, man.
But yeah, well, let's hope for that we can go to the games and have a good time there for sure. All right, we have another great episode in store for you Thursday night, and and should be an inspiring one as well. But until then, have a great night, everybody.
Stay safe, everybody. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Do you want to meet other sports enthusiasts like yourself? Playing the Field can help you connect with people who love sports as much as you do. For friendship or romance. You can showcase up to 5 of your favorite teams on your profile trading card to make it easier to find fellow sports fans. Now you can talk about sports, go to the games, or play sports with others who share your interests. Find out more at playthefieldnow.com.